Danny, so there's 1 month to go until the vital referendum on September 18th. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the no camp?
Well, we have to work as hard as we can to get across the message that we have the best of both worlds as part of the United Kingdom. We have a strong Scottish Parliament, we have the deep pockets of the United Kingdom, and we have to also demonstrate to people the risks of independence. You know, the nationalist case on the currency has collapsed into a total shambles. People are seeing now that their oil projections are pie in the sky, and therefore an independent Scotland would have real difficulty affording the public services like the NHS that we rely on. We have to get those messages across and make sure that as many of our supporters as possible get to the polls on September the 18th. I think our side of the argument has the momentum, but we have to make sure that is converted to a strong majority when the referendum day comes.
And obviously the NHS has been a key issue this week, and the SNP claims that the only way to save the NHS from privatisation and further cuts is to vote yes. How would you counteract those claims?
Well, the claims are false from start to finish. Responsibility for the National Health Service in Scotland is in one person's hands and one person's alone, and that's Alex Salmond. It's the Scottish Government who determines what happens in hospitals and doctors' surgeries here in Scotland. That will continue after the referendum, whatever the result. And the truth is that NHS spending by the UK government has been increasing year after year after year. That will continue in the future. So these are pure scare stories from a yes campaign that is increasingly desperate. It's losing the argument and it's trying to scare people. And people shouldn't be scared, because the truth is that the Scottish National Health Service will continue to be the responsibility of the Scottish Parliament after a no vote, and money will keep increasing for the NHS across the United Kingdom. That's what everyone has pledged to do. It's what the NHS needs. We all believe in the NHS as a great British institution. Let's not break it up. Let's not risk it by going to independence where there's less money to go around, and so actually an independent Scotland would be less able to afford the NHS that Scotland needs than we can within the United Kingdom.
And you hit upon a very key point of the SNP plans, which is the value of oil fields and their accusations that the no side is undervaluing what's there and the slice that they would get. How do you tackle that issue?
Well, all of the independent forecasts show less oil revenue projected than the SNP do. Their projections are massively over-optimistic. And you know, just recently, Sir Ian Wood, who I think is probably the most respected figure in the entire oil and gas sector, has come out with his own figures and saying that the nationalists are overestimating oil revenues by about 40%, that in fact we can expect much less tax revenue in the years to come. And it stands to reason, you know, oil is a declining resource. We want to get the most of it out that we can, but that means accepting we're going to get much less tax revenue in future. And of course, if you wipe away the hyper-optimistic predictions that the SNP based their case on, then what you're left with is an independent Scotland where the gap between what we raise and what we spend is just getting wider and wider and wider, and the consequence would be higher taxes or public expenditure cuts year after year under independence.
And currency union, it's been going on, the debate's been going on for many, many weeks. Alex Salmond doesn't seem to accept that he wouldn't be allowed to use the pound, and he also thinks he could just join the euro if he sees fit. What do you think is the best outcome should, unfortunately, there be a yes vote?
Well, I think the currency issue has become really clear for people. It's clear that there isn't going to be a currency union, that the rest of the UK wouldn't agree to it, and frankly that it wouldn't be in the best interests of an independent Scotland either. So Alex Salmond has a responsibility to come out with a plan B. But instead of doing what he should be doing and saying what his plan B is, his currency argument is collapsing into a total shambles, with one advisor saying it might be temporary, another advisor saying they might do this, another one saying they might do that. I think that it just goes to show how little homework the nationalists have done over the last 80 years, working up their case for independence. They really ought to have thought this through properly. And I think that if you want to keep the pound, the only way to do it is to keep the United Kingdom together. That's the way the pound works. It works well for Scotland. The UK works well for Scotland. Let's not break it up.
Yeah. And finally, if you had 30 seconds to convince an undecided voter, what would you say to them?
I'd say that as part of the United Kingdom, we have the best of both worlds. We have a strong Scottish Parliament. The Scottish Parliament has power to take decisions on a whole range of aspects of our lives. But we also get the benefits of sharing money, sharing resources, the deep pockets of one United Kingdom, the credibility that United Kingdom has in the world economy, in terms of influencing things in the globe that we rely on. So the best of both worlds, independence is a hugely risky, dangerous and uncertain proposition. If what you care about is having prosperity, having a stronger economy, having a strong currency in future, the way to secure that is to keep the UK together.